Good morning. Happy Friday. Many of us are on vacation today and getting ready to finalize shopping if you haven't done that already. Getting ready for next week where we celebrate Christmas. And some of us are already in the celebration of Hanukkah. So just want to welcome you to the Diplomat Chronicles, where today we're going to talk about value proposition and self evident proposition and how you bring value to folks. So, again, good morning. This is Yvette C. Owens, the business ambassador of the Diplomat Chronicles, and I welcome you. Happy holidays to everyone. Happy holidays. I pray that you all have a safe and happy holiday, far more than what you ever expected or hope to experience, even in this time of a pandemic, even in this new place that we find ourselves in, right? Um, so today, we're talking about value proposition and making and self-evident propositions. So value propositions, and proposition means what you bring to the table. It is around how you bring value. What's that statement? What is that, those objectives that you bring value to people in the world? And it's specifically for those that you're supposed to connect with, intended to connect with. Self evident proposition is your purpose, your abilities, your goals, your visions. It's they still must bring value. So self-evident means nobody has to tell you, nobody has to prove it to you. You know that you know that you know that you know that these are the propositions that you bring to people. This is the value. This is an intentional objectives that you bring to the table, right? This is what you bring. So I've want to make sure you're bringing value in the spaces that you are supposed to bring value with your proposition. So I know sometimes you hear proposition and people think, oh, that's a negative word. You're really trying to sell somebody on something. No, proposition is simply a statement of who you are, what you're bringing, and what you're offering. The key is to make sure you're offering things that are relevant and of value to others. So, how do we get to that value proposition statement that's personal, very personal? And the first thing is you have to commit in delving deep inside of you about what your purpose really is. We hear purpose all the time. Purpose. What does that mean? What does it mean? And do you specifically know what your purpose is? You have to start there because you can't have a value statement if you don't know what your purpose is. So purpose is the reason for which you've been created, you something the reason why something is done, having one's intention and objective. And I've been watching The Crown on Netflix. Have any of you been watching The Crown on Netflix? It's been amazing to me because there's so many leadership lessons that are taught in that series. While it's just a dramatization of what's happening, um, that happens in the Queen's life and all that, there are so many leadership nuggets there. But one of the things that that strikes me and is reminded throughout the entire series is that they never forget their purpose, their sovereign rule over England. They never ever forget that purpose and their behavior, and they make sure their behavior is supporting that purpose. They make sure they're walking in their purpose at all times. Now, over history, they've had to adjust it because they had to remain relevant. And they had people around them saying it might be time for you to adjust how. I remember there was a scene where there was a terrible um, accident in a coal mine that killed a whole bunch of kids. in school and people in the school, because the legislature, parliament, nor the crown was responding to the community saying, hey, you need to do something about this mine coal. And the queen's secretary comes and says, I think you might need to go visit. Her response is, the crown visits the hospital, they don't visit accident sites. But as time proved out, she ended up going to that, I'm pretty sure it was in Poland. She ended up going to the site of the incident and brought hope to that community. So her purpose in being sovereign, one of her purposes in being sovereign, is to make sure people know that there's someone there that's watching over their affairs, that's making sure that things are happening fairly and staying intact and in rule, and overseeing, making sure that there's being governed properly. Well, she also had to make an appearance outside of what she normally does to be able to fulfill her purpose and make it relevant for that time. So, commit to delving deep inside of you and who you are and your purpose, and knowing who your purpose is. Secondly, you must embrace it. Embrace your identity explicitly, openly. Embrace your identity mentally, psychologically, spiritually. And why I say that is, if you don't own your identity, your purpose, your uniqueness, then you will not be able to know when you're bringing value to people. And you will try to adjust and shift that every time you see somebody else seeming like they're getting more notoriety, they're bringing more value to the table at a specific time. Now you'll try to adjust and the script and try to be what they are, be something that you're not. So commit to understanding within the depths of your soul what you are, what your purpose is, and then embrace it wholeheartedly. Speak it out. This is my purpose. It's not this. And it's good to say what it's not, so you're clear on that, but also say what it is. Finally, not finally, but you want to also identify what you are to do with your purpose, right? So commit to understanding your purpose. And again, we talk purpose, but you have to define what your purpose is and not say, I'm fulfilling my purpose, but I'm fulfilling my ability to help people overcome struggles in the workplace, would be my statement, right? I'm helping people who feel stuck in ministry or in the workplace to get unstuck and to be able to have a safe place to share what they're going through and the challenges they're facing without any repercussions. That would be my purpose statement. I'm there to help people. So you need to be able to define your purpose and be able to explicitly share it and not just use the term purpose loosely. And then just because you can do something doesn't mean you should do it. Stop trying to be something or someone that you're not. And again, this goes along with embracing your identity, really knowing why you've been born, why were you created? Because all of that will play into how you present your value proposition. So I have 3 other sisters. We all have music abilities in some sense or another, some more than others. We all have business acumen in some sense or another. But if I were to look at what they're doing and trying to mimic what they're doing in their spaces, it would not be true to who Yvette is. Because they have not walked my walk. Matter of fact, some of us are closer than the others, meaning our walks have been closer, but a couple of them have been in education and purely in education, and that's a different environment than being in corporate. So Catrice and Delana and Donna too spent some time in education, and I and Donna Moore have been in corporate. So doing seeing those different places, different things play out, different scenarios play out. I cannot mimic my walk, my purpose, and embracing my identity and presenting my value statement if I'm trying to present their value statement in me. I can't do it. Musically, they're in a different level. Musically, they're doing different things. I can't just hang on to that musical portion of me and think that's my sole purpose or my primary purpose. No, Yvette's primary purpose is for all the hell I've been through in corporate America, for all the challenges that I've faced in ministry. I'm here to help people have a safe place where they can share what they're going through and get solutions or at least potential approaches so that they can move forward in corporate settings, in company settings, in ministry settings, and succeed, overcome, conquering those corporate enemies. And remember, when I say corporate, it's anytime you have a group of people coming together to complete a vision. So it's not just your Fortune 500. It's not just, it can be schools, it can be ministries, it can be anything when those people are coming together. So value proposition is what we're talking about. How do I present my value proposition? How do I present my benefit to others so they'll know when to come to me, when they'll know when to utilize my experiences, when they'll know to give me opportunities if I'm in that workplace, when they'll know when to come and utilize my services and products if I have a business. That's what we're talking about. So in a nutshell, you really want to, value proposition is really showing your relevancy. How your products solve customers' problems or improve their situation. How your experiences, your knowledge, your skill set, your education, how that helps that organization that you're joining solve problems, fill gaps. That's what you need to focus on when we talk about value. What value am I bringing? What's my value proposition, relevancy? Put it in words, put it in statements, put it in something that you can quickly roll off at any time that someone asks, why are you here? And how about when we ask ourselves, why am I here? I've been in ministries and I'm like, I'm not sure why I'm here. And I had to go back and revisit that value statement, revisit my purpose, revisit who I am, my identity, so that I can bring value forth and feel good about why I am in an organization or a part of it. So you have to define relevancy. The other thing is quantify the value. Be very specific on the benefits that you're bringing. It's not helpful, again, that we say, oh, I'm walking in my purpose or I know my identity. No. What is it so that I know when I need to contact you? What is it that I need? What are you doing? What do you have that I need to know about, that so that when I need to contact you? And I think we think that if I start to define it, then I'm narrowing my scope and I'm closing out some people. Wake up call. You are not here to serve everyone. You're not. You're not here, and your products and services are not here for everyone. There are specific people, specific target audiences, specific environments where you are created and have been created to influence with your value proposition. So get over the fact that I don't want to narrow it too close, too small, so that I close people out. If you are really walking in your purpose, and you bring your true value proposition forward in the vision that you see, there will be some people on the perimeter, outside of what you're doing, because you're not here for everyone. I remember the Book of Eli, the movie. I don't know if you guys remember that movie that came out a while ago with Denzel Washington. And he was going through and he was trying to get to this book or get this book to someone. And he was through his journey trying to get to his destination, he would have to fight off um, people who were attacking him, or he would step into situations where saw things were being wrong. But there was one scene where he had just come out of a battle, and there was a couple on the side of a road, and they were just going at each other. I mean, they were beating down on each other. And his first inclination was to, okay, here we go again. I have to step in and help and respond. But instead of doing that, he walked by, kept saying, not my business, not my business. And so you have to understand what value you bring and what specific scenarios and situations you can bring the most value, where it can flourish the most, so that you're most successful. Trying to be everything to everyone will hurt you, and it will diminish your value, and you really won't be walking in your truism. And then lastly, you want to differentiate. Tell people how you're different than other people who are doing what you're doing. Because again, because we're not the only ones, there are going to be people that um, need to understand, well, how are you different, Yvette, than John? Or how are you different than this other coach? How are you different? What do you bring to the table? And your language should share with people how they need to connect with you over connecting with someone else. So I'm hoping this is helpful. Um, we do have self evident propositions, we do have value and purpose that we each bring to the table that nobody else has to tell us. Nobody else has to prove it. I know that I'm bringing help to those who are in the workplace or in ministry, who struggle, who feel stuck, who want to and stuck how? They know they have something to do and something to offer, but either the people in that space are not willing to receive it, they're not seeing that person's value, they're not appreciating it, or I know there's something else in for me to do. I just don't know how to package it. I don't know how to do it. I don't know how to help others see it. That's what I do. That's what I do. And I make sure I help people get unstuck. And you want to remain strong, you want to appear strong, but you need a safe place to clear your head, your thoughts, and someone who understands specific scenarios that you're dealing with. So I have been in corporate for more than 40 years. I have been in ministry primarily all my life, but at least more than 45, 50 years. Um, and really understanding and observing the trends and the patterns and situations that could come up on a day-to-day basis while I watched my leadership and in my adult life, and even my parents, seeing them have to deal with different things in ministry and in their workplaces. I've observed them. For whatever reason, my purpose called me to watch what they were having, the challenges they were running into, watch the specific scenarios they had to overcome, be able to get up when they're so hurting and still keep moving, still show up on time, still being able to go and perform their very best, still be able to say, okay, I'm going to invest more into my education, and so that I can bring even more value. I watch them do that. And so I'm here to help you do the same thing. And today, I want you to take those self evident propositions that you have and clearly identify the value for the right audience at the right time, remaining relevant. And so, how do you also remain relevant? I mentioned in a post that I had yesterday, and I posted yesterday, that we can remain relevant and bring our value propositions forward by, one, again, being clear, differentiating ourselves, the benefits that we bring, making sure we're focused on those unique benefits, and collaborate creates growth. I mentioned yesterday. So when you see someone operating in excellence that can complement what you're doing, connect with them. Don't see everyone as your competition. Collaborate with people so that you know and you can grow together. It's not always about competition when you see someone in excellence. There's no need to get jealous, there's no need to be envious. But if there's space for you to collaborate, then you can both grow. And then grow and refine. As I mentioned, I watched my parents invest in their education, even after having master's degrees and still going back for certifications and things like that, so they could remain relevant. You need to do that. And so, how do we do that? Grow and refine our proposition. So you have a value proposition right now. Don't make the mistake of what I'm saying about growing and refining that you don't have one. You have one today. You have one right now. You have a value, self evident proposition that you bring to your audience, you bring to your workplace, you bring to your ministry. You have to define that and define it as finitely as you can. And so then, so that you can continue to grow and stay relevant, I mentioned yesterday in the post that you should revisit it at least at a minimum of every 5 years. And what are you looking for? Because we're growing, right? We're learning more. You're going to revisit what's your strengths and your weaknesses, because you'll get more strength and you'll understand more places where you may be more vulnerable and you have some gaps and you need to grow. The outward environment, our outward environment changes on a daily basis. So you want to refine and understand how your value can now impact your environment. And then you want to, what issues do you handle best that people care about? Because people change, like we change our clothes every day, right? People change. And so, what do they need today? Or what trends are you seeing that they need now in this space, in this time that we're having? Even as we're getting ready to cross over into 2021, what value can you bring to someone or your workplace as they're planning out what's going to happen for 2021? Do it with excellence. Know those issues that you are uniquely able to handle. Raise your hand if you're in the workplace. Don't sit back and wait for somebody to tag you on the shoulder and say, hey, this is what I need. No, if you know you can handle it and you bring value to that, and your unique skill set and your unique experiences, your unique value can help solve that, raise your hand, volunteer, and get it done. And then lastly, review your opportunities and threats. There's always opportunities, but there's always threats to what we want to do. And you want to be able to always be mindful of that. Again, a really concentrated time reviewing all of these things is going to be helpful for you every 5 years. But if you do it periodically during those 5 years, you're going to be all the more better off. So I wanted to share those things with you. And I also wanted to share with you some things that are coming up in 2021 and that are available now, because I continue to want to be in this space to help you. And so I'm happy to, and I'm hoping that today helps. And if you have any questions, please inbox me, email me. You can reach me at the Diplomat Chronicles. I did not share that during this conversation, but I will put it up now. I'm trying to get my mouse over here. At the Diplomat Chronicles gmail.com. Here we go. At the Diplomat Chronicles gmail.com. Or you can visit my website. I post blogs, I post podcasts. I'm on Facebook at the Diplomat Chronicles or at Company Culture. And even with my partner, we have a business, Destiny Speak, where we look to help organizations become healthy organizations through making sure they're having diversity and inclusion, equity in their workplace, strong leadership, and strong leadership from top to bottom. Because you, as the visionary, can be extremely strong, but if your message is not going and cascading down to the organization, there is what we call that black hole. So we want to make sure people are prepared to minimize that black hole and have everyone speaking and saying the same thing. So what I'm offering for 2021 is the Diplomat Academy, where people who lead and solve with integrity. I often get inquiries and questions and people wanting to spend time with me because they've run into a scenario or situation that, it just feels overwhelming, or just, let's just face it, there are many leaders in the workplace and in ministry who are not leaders, and they are not prepared to be leaders and great leaders. So when you run into those situations, what do? And the Diplomat Academy will open in January 2021. You will have access to me privately through email, where you can, if you run into something or you have questions or you want to avoid a situation because you're going into a scenario, you'll have access to me through that academy. I'll also be posting things where I'm seeing trends happening, I'm seeing patterns happening, I'm seeing some things starting to resurrect, so that you can be aware and you can be ahead of the game and add greater value to what you bring to the table. So just for $35 a month, you can be a part of the Diplomat Academy. Now, I'm only opening this up for 30 people because I want to be able to serve the 30 people well. Now, the benefit of this is also that you may not immediately have questions, but some questions that others may be having, and challenges may be running into, I'll be able to capsulize them, package them, and also share them so you can avoid those things. And I obviously won't be divulging people's specific information, but I see things happening, and I've seen them happen over time, that if everybody could listen in on the conversation, then they would know, oh, let me watch out for that. Or that's similar to something else that I'm running into, and I just didn't even realize it. So, again, I encourage you, if you would like some additional support, whether you're in corporate, whether you're a leader, whether you're an individual contributor, whether in ministry, whether you're in education, whether you're a student, where you're new to the corporate or company, whatever it is, wherever you find yourself, if you find that you could use some additional support in a safe place where you can be vulnerable, you don't have to give up or have people feeling like, oh, she's not a leader if she needs help with this, or he can't handle the job because he needs help. No, everybody needs a safe place where they can go, and the Diplomat Academy is that place for people who want to lead and solve with integrity, and that will open up in January. Inbox me your email address if you're interested in becoming a part of that, because if you're listening to this broadcast today or even later, before the end of the year, I will get the information out to you right away so you can be one of the first 30. All right. And then the other thing is, I want to let you know that that Conquering Corporate Enemies, my book, we have new gear out. And so visit my website at www.diplomatchronicles, the Diplomat Chronicles, it's an S on the N.com, and you can purchase any of this gear. If you bought the book, you can now have some gear to remind you of some of those things that you remember reading and that you found helpful. So we have unisex hoodies, we have unisex t-shirts, we have the backpack, and we have a cap. So please feel free to go and visit the diplomatchronicles.com. And if you're interested in the Diplomat Academy, please inbox me your email address so that I can make sure I get you on the list and you can register right away for the Academy and start to be able to have a sounding board, be able to get the benefits of all that will be in that Academy. I wish everyone a Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah. I pray that you are safe. I pray that you enjoy your family, whether it's virtual or up close and personal. I hope you remember to take time to rest, to take time to come down off of some of the things that you've been doing, because we've all experienced great trauma. We've all experienced great change in our life, and we need time to really come down off of all of that as we go into 2021. And so I hope that you take the time to do it. Some of these posts that I'm leaving up and that I've done in the last couple of days are things that you can switch gears off of what you normally do and think about you. Think about your value proposition. Think about your strengths. Think about you being a gift to the world. Think about how you can persevere. I know many of you were really blessed and helped by that persevere um, broadcast. Go back and listen to it again, because you can do it. Like I said in that broadcast, anybody can quit. And you know why they quit easy? Because they don't know their value proposition, their self evident value proposition. And so go and re listen to that, watch those, look at those posts, visit the website, and reach out to me if you have any questions. And I hope to see each of you in the Diplomat Academy. God bless you all. Have an awesome, awesome Christmas, holiday season, and a wonderful new year. Let's make the new year what we want it to be. So many people are thinking, well, what is it going to be? How about you speak into your future and make it what you want it to be? Speak and say what your future will be. All right? So I've enjoyed this time with you. Enjoy the rest of your day. And I'll talk to you next time. Bye bye now.